Welcome back to the Mr. Gloat podcast. And today, before we get started, we do have to address a couple things here. First things first, considering this is the end of the second week, we're coming forward. We're halfway through the month of July. We've done 10 episodes, or 12, or 15, or so. I don't even know how many episodes I've done this month. And at this moment, I'm already trying to relax my voice right now because at this moment, I'm already getting tired a little bit, but that's not going to stop me from getting through updates and updates. That's not what I'm doing. And also, it's 1:30 a.m. in the morning, Saturday, as we speak. So as we're recording this, today, Saturday, 1:30 a.m., so I do have to be quiet for now. But, so just to point that out. And I think that's probably the best thing you can do at this moment, just for everything going on. But considering as we're recording this, this is episode 51. So the last episode has already been released as you're watching this video a couple of days ago in the future. So, which makes you wonder about the FIFA World Cup. Well, as this video is uploaded, the FIFA World Cup is done. Again, I don't know who the winner is. So next time I will record another episode, mostly to get through everything else. This is going to be just a short video for today, uploaded for Tuesday. And then next time I'll upload another video on Wednesday, the 22nd, even though the FIFA World Cup is already done 3 days ago. But we could just take it easy and just take it for what it is. Oh, sorry about that. What's wrong with my camera here? Get down. Sorry about that. But here's the thing. So we already talked about Spain defeated France 2-0. Argentina barely squeaked out a victory against England 2-1. So it just goes to show you that even the best countries that make it through the tournament of FIFA World Cup, they're not perfect. And it does upset me that Mbappe and Lionel Messi F themselves up in the semifinals. Like, Mbappe and Lionel Messi are the two most embarrassments. They scored 0. They scored 0. They did not score a single winning goal in the semifinals. France could not get nothing done. Even Messi's team barely came forward in the last minutes of the game to score the last 2 goals during 5 to like 7 or 8 minutes left of game time. And even after past the 90-minute mark, they managed to score a late goal at the end of there as well. So, yeah, it just goes to show you. It's almost like the Miami Dolphins 1972 World Series, where the Miami Dolphins barely squeaked out, dominating 14 games as best they could. Well, not all domination, but you get the point. They pushed themselves to the limit as best they could. And even with all the pushing and shoving that they got themselves through, it wasn't that they had any choice. Right? The Dolphins went on. They pushed their way forward as best they could from every single situation. Was it the 72? Trying to look up the game on Wikipedia if I'm double guessing that is right. Super Bowl. No, it's definitely no. That's the Colts game. Wait 1 second. No, it's not Super Bowl 6. Wait, is it the 73? Oh, 73. Oh, I thought it was a 70. Wait, okay. I really thought, 1973, Super Bowl 1973. Well, but that, again, they call it the 72 Dolphins, but still. But the point is for the Miami Dolphins, 1972 season, but Super Bowl starts in January or February the next year. But still, the thing about the Dolphins is that they managed to defeat the Browns when the Cleveland Browns were competitive back then. Not the new expansion Browns, but the originals, which are now known as the Baltimore Ravens. And then when they took on against the Steelers, they had to go to their home. And you have to understand about the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers were a Pennsylvania team up north in the Three Rivers Stadium, which is where they took place for 30 years until the end of the 20th century. They moved away. But still, dangerous weathers up north are the most legit. And this was an outside venue. Understand, yes, the Miami Dolphins were performing in an outside venue, which back then were all common. There was nothing rare about that. They were in the Miami Orange Bowl and had their moments. But the thing is, when you're down south, whether in Florida, in the wintertime, weather can affect you a lot. If you're going up north to the weather of the dangerous of the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's reasons why New England and Pittsburgh have won 6 Super Bowls in their career. You have to understand that. But yeah, one day during the AFC Championship, out of nowhere, from 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wait, was it one? No. Wait, was it 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? I think it was 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December the 31st, 58 degrees of weather. But again, the weather was calm and not dusty or dirty. There was no weather. There was no snow. It was a so perfect time that Miami barely managed to get a touchdown in each of their second, third, and fourth quarter. And Pittsburgh managed to come out with a touchdown in the first quarter, score 3 points in the third, and managed to score a second touchdown in the fourth quarter. Just for the heck of it, but they actually scored it a lot. They actually scored a little bit too late, but you get the point. So again, they managed to do it out of their comfort zone. And then they went to Los Angeles Coliseum to play against the Redskins, scored a couple touchdowns, one each from the first second. They were going to score a field goal kick in the fourth to get a 17-0 victory to accomplish their 17-0 record. But we already know what happened. They got lucked off, unlucky for them for their kicker. And, well, Redskins luckily got touchdown, and both Dolphins, everyone else got one more chance to get something done. But no, at the end of the day, with 2 minutes left of the game after that touchdown, with Mike Bass scoring a touchdown, unbelievable. People call it a fumble return, while some people call it an interception. You can look it up for yourself. Was it a fumble or was it an interception? Wikipedia says it's a fumble, but most people say it was an interception. Accidental way of it. Again, Dolphins won the Super Bowl, but still you get to understand that there's no perfect team ever in the world of sports all the time. There are some teams that are perfect for seasons, but they're never the best all the time. But that's the same thing for Argentina and France. But France and Argentina got 3-0 records, just like Mexico. And even though Mexico lost against England 3-2, and they had their battles there, and I'll give them credit, England almost destroyed another undefeated team that had a 3-0 record and they almost did it against Argentina, which goes to show you that, where England set it up to become, like, there were talks online and people talk about how England were a dangerous threat, and they sure did. They did come out of nowhere and made it to the semifinals, and they just choked at the end. But I think the art of the choke was almost luck for Argentina, because they proved that they were not a lucky team, and that was problematic. And And Spain, on the other hand, don't get me wrong, Spain are the 2010 World Cup of FIFA. And 3 years ago in 2023, the Women's World Cup did it for Spain. And Spain are the second country in history that both male and female genders won a World Cup in FIFA in their own perspective genders of the FIFA World Cup. Just like since Germany did it back in 2003, and they won again in 2007 for the Women's World Cup, and after 2014 for Men's World Cup when they won their fourth, Germany are the world record holder for the most World Cups in both genders, winning 6 in a row. Brazil only won 5, and they're all men, no women. USA, 4 for women, but 0 for men. So that right there proves a lot for the history of taking it. So yeah, if Spain wins the World Cup tomorrow, or over 48 hours until that tournament starts, which will barely until 3 p.m. UTC Standard Time, which that is going to be right to the middle of Eastern Standard Time, barely from where I'm living, with just 1 block away. At this moment, so I'm assuming it's like 4 p.m. I think it is. So with all that being said, and even though France is also having their own competitiveness in mind, because keep this in mind, if France defeats England, which that will be a shocker if England defeats France and they put out an unbelievable record in 3rd place, because that would not shock me for how England did so well this year. It's ridiculous. While Argentina, they better, like Lionel Messi, they better keep things up together if they want to win this World Cup. Because this would be the first time in history that a FIFA World Cup team has ever won with an undefeated record without 0 losses and draws in the World Cup. It's so rare to become a World Cup champion for men when it comes to the records of that division of FIFA. It's that hard to be a legitimate team. So I can honestly say that it's pretty tough to find excellent talent for all of the players that get themselves involved in this sport. Because you got to understand, it's not how good you are, but how far can you reach the top. When it comes to a tournament bracket, you really got to be on your best game plan. And I think Argentina got too comfortable thinking they were going to win, and they had to fight back. And England got comfortable as well. So I think it makes you wonder that Argentina might be almost giving up. So it is what it is. So my final thought about this. Okay, so next time I'm going to take a break from boxing after this. But as for this episode, okay, well, my final thing is this. My prediction is England might defeat France by a good amount of goals, maybe by 1 point. Argentina, I think they can defeat Spain, and I do believe they might. My final grading for this, I might even give them maybe a 2-1 victory or a 1-0 victory. But Argentina, Messi might have enough energy to put everything there. He might do a good job in East Rutherford, in the MetLife Stadium, and in New Jersey. It is going to be a humdinger of a performance, so I wish them good luck. My final grading for this show, because of this entire FIFA World Cup, I'm grading FIFA World Cup 2026 a straight up F. It's the worst tournament of FIFA World Cup of all time for 3 reasons. One is that even though they brought 48 teams and the top 32 out of 48, with 16 being eliminated, had to make it. This is the first time that we ever had to do a 32-man bracket tournament for teams. And even though Canada, USA, and Mexico managed to make it to the round of 16 in their round of 32 victory, and they could not surpass it to the round of 16, that just declares utter stupidity. Brazil could not barely win against Japan and lose against Norway. Yeah, so that's just tough. It just makes these other teams really hard. And Morocco getting dominated by France again, like they did 4 years ago, and all you have is three European teams and one South American team in the semifinals. That's just not it. And that's the second reason why I don't like it. And you have Brazil and Argentina, both undefeated, 3-0. And then they come into the tournament bracket. Both of them are 6-0. Both are going for their seventh victory in the semis. Spain defeats France, but Argentina makes it England. No, I'm not buying that. And that was the coffin that nailed everything. After it was over, I just gave this an F. I was going to give it a D if France and Argentina made it to the finals for Mbappe and Lionel for competing against each other like they did 4 years ago, but no, I'm not buying it. It's just not my pick. This is the worst tournament ever with teams and players and everything else going on. Controversy going on with so much stuff with players and cards, and how one of the USA players named Folarin Balogun, who was suspended, banned due to something back against their game in Bosnia in the round of 32, which might have killed off their team. Yeah, that's just utter catastrophe for everything to be watched about. It's just not that good for me to even pronounce everything about this. It's utter chaos. Don't get me wrong, the USA are doing a lot better than they did coming back in the 1990s and perform in 2000. So they might not be the best team of all time. Some people say that they're quitters. They don't care about the sport. At least they're in the middle of some countries that they can compete against. So I can't say much about that. And even though the worst team ever is Iraq because they only had 3 defeats in their run and only scored a single goal and lost 12 goals giving up with a -11. Yeah, just goes to show you that's the way life goes. And other teams with 0-3 records have been tough enough. So I really can't say that there's reasons for this. It is what it is. But you do got to look really hard into it. There's a lot of players out there that put out a lot of historical moments to make things good. But again, when looking at the controversies, such as the tournament and how they've been accompanied by a number of controversies relating to a logistical environment and human rights issues, with particularly over the United States immigration of visa policies, affecting teams from fans such as Iran, where their participation amid from the ongoing conflict of the drug cartel violence in Mexico for FIFA's use for dynamic ticket pricing, suspension of Florian Balogun and his red card, the application of the new rules of technology, and various for on-field controversies. Yeah, when you add all those together and USA's player scoring more goals for them for the US and they get eliminated later in the game, yes, were they going to lose against Belgium if Folarin wasn't red card? Again, 4-1, maybe they would have squeaked one goal away from them and then they score another and Belgium might have won either way, 3-2. Again, who knows? Or maybe they would have gotten a lucky break, just like Brazil almost got it from Japan, and how Argentina barely defeated England. So it just goes to show you, those things could happen. But yeah, those controversies just killed everything. Don't get me wrong. It was great that they still had these great musicals, bringing in some interesting moments. It was great that they had some interesting people involved into this, with the official soundtrack of an release from the single of a song called Lighter by performer Jelly Roll, which I haven't heard about him, who is known as Jason Bradley, which I haven't heard of him for a while. So, and also they even had surprisingly another guy named Carlin Leon, who I do know. I do know who he is. I actually remember one single I actually once listened a few years ago, which was called La Primera Cita, which is actually a pretty fun song. And also his other popular song called Q Viuvas, which is his more successful song in the US. But and also the Alan Parsons Project. I heard that they played the song Cyrus of the British Rock, which was known for the Chicago Bulls in 1984, which was played by. They stated that it was for all subsequent matches for a special walkout for the remix and other stuff for a guy named Die. So yeah, nothing's terrible, but I would almost have to give the show an F plus for the entirety. I hate to say it. It is what it is. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Wow, it's only been 20 minutes, huh? Okay, so it's the last 20 minutes I'm going to have to talk about right now. Well, I might as well have to talk about all this stuff. I'm going to take a break from all of the boxing shows. So I am going to review, let me guess, 22nd. Okay, so things are going to happen. I will upload another episode on Friday the 24th. And then take time on for that. Well, I might release one. Okay, well, after this episode's over, the next episode I will review is going to be the final. Well, in the next episode after this, I'm going to review probably after. See, I'm trying to. I want to record one more episode of football for FIFA. I actually want to review the last 10 tournaments, which are the Confederation Cup, which I have talked about in the last episode, talking about how I got carried away and I accidentally made a title such as result updates and history of soccer. And it was a horrible title. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I was talking about. I know I was talking about the FIFA World Cup. I didn't know how to explain it. I just made the title of the video. I got carried away. I recorded the video 4 days ago and then edited it 4 days later. So at this moment, I'm a one-man person. There's just nothing I could say. So I did actually, I should have followed along with that. But again, I really can't say much about that. You see, all I'm going to do, I'm already going to record it. I might as well take a moment on. So the next episode on the 23rd, I will record something else. But I'm going to try to think about doing the Confederation Cup. But because the Tyson Fury fight and Anthony Joshua fight and Jermell Charlo and all those other things happen in Australia, this is going to be an entire show for the 24th, 26th, 25th, and 26th. I'm going to review every single fight on the same day, and I'm going to try to release it probably on the 28th of July or something. So I got to come up with some videos I'm going to have to record. So I got to talk about boxing for now. But at this moment, my throat is getting sored up so bad. So I'm just trying to follow up updates because the month of July is crazy. But the month of August isn't that much happening. But anyway, here's the updates of what's happening. Unfortunately, 2 days ago, information on a news article titled Ben Hammans, Hammans, which is, I can't, or by Ben Hammans, who's working for Box Live, put up an article, which is now released, updated yesterday ago on 3:48 p.m., states here, Jermell Charlo and Stephen Fulton still grounded by Australian visa issues. Fox Sports Australia has reported that Fulton successfully landed at Sydney on Friday. A day after this report, veteran journalist Dan Raphael stated on X that PBC, TGB, Tom Brown Promotions, officials do not believe Jermell Charlo will be granted a visa to travel to Australia in time for his scheduled fight this Saturday. Damn it. Jermell, Charlo, and Steven have still not been cleared to fly to Australia ahead of their scheduled undercard for July the 26th. Show at Afterpay Arena on Sydney. A No Limit spokesperson confirmed on Thursday afternoon that both American fighters had not yet left LAX, which is, I call it LAX, that evening, U.S. time, because of ongoing visa issues. Okay, guys, I've talked about the visa issues before with when Trevor Bryan became WBA heavyweight champion, defeating Berman Stavern on Don King Promotions in January 2021. And I have talked about that so many times about the WBA and so much about everything for Char. And don't get me wrong, like Char might have been it was hard. Like his opponent, because Mahmoud Achar had a lot of stuff going. He put on a lot of moments. He was a champion, but it took him a long time to get back to the ring, and he was championship of recess in 2021. After that, he just couldn't fight in America. He never fought in America once in his entire life, and that suffered problematics for everyone else. It's a killer. It's not good. But when you're with a boxing promoter like Don King, knowing something's up with all of the time, it was bad. You knew that something terrible was happening. Yes, Trevor Bryan won the belt, retained it a year later against some nobody, and at that moment, you could say to yourself, you should have retired or maybe left Don King Promotions and vacated the belt. Or maybe just would have got something done. And maybe no one thought Daniel Dubois was going to come up and fight him and won. And Dubois defended the title, lost against Usyk, and then Manuel Achar won the belt back. So it is tough. But again, the information is so ridiculous. Like the visa issues are so out of context for me in today's world, because people should brace for this type of stuff to happen. Like, you knew something was going to go on if you travel to another country. You have to, like, I guess people are still thinking the controversies of Jermell Charlo would be the problem again. And when you have Stephen Fulton, again, Stephen Fulton is a tough dude, and just like Jermell Charlo, and Charlo hasn't fought for over a year. And again, Fulton, on the other hand, has done a good job trying to make ends meet for everything else, even after his recent defeat in December against Oshak Q. Foster. And he's having a great fight with Liam Williams, which would be an interesting fight on paper for July the 27th. And all of these things are coming forward. And Charlo is taking on a nobody, but that might build his reputation to get him up there. It's just ridiculous that all of these things are happening and these fights might not happen. And it stinks, because I just feel like there's so much ridiculous stuff going on here that I really don't understand. Because these fights are going to happen on July the 26th, and at this moment, if the Charlo fight doesn't happen, I'm not going to review the show. I might talk about who won the fight or this or that, but I'm not going to review it. I am going to try to review a little bit of Anthony Joshua's fight and Tyson Fury's fight, following up all the information I'm trying to talk about. And next time I am trying to review the Confederation Cup for the football, to talk about each event and know which is my favorite. But I would get to an update for that some other time. But I'm just trying to follow something here, because it's just ridiculous that these visa issues are I just tired of a hiatus fighter. It's ridiculous. More updates on the vacancies for all of the super flyweight title. Taraji, former unified two-time weight class champion, from light flyweight to flyweight, as becoming a 3 division champion status beckons. Despite becoming a 2 weight class unified champion and isn't satisfied with his standing in the sport just yet, the Japanese standout will face pioneer junior bantamweight Israel Gonzalez for the WBO vacant title, super flyweight title, at Monday in the Koku in the Koku Gikan Koku Gikan in Tokyo, Japan. He states that I'm happy to have received another shot, another moving up a weight class, and told by Ring, I'm working hard to wear the belt around my waist again and become a 3 weight division champion. After losing a 12-round fight for my belts for WBC and WBA against Ricardo Sandova, Taraji took some time to assess his options. Losing was a shock, he admitted, but I changed my mindset, working harder to become a champion again. I wanted to make a comeback right away. I did not think of retiring and went back to the gym after a month rest. Again, even though Taraji is 34 years old, I will say though, even though he was supposed to take on the IBF boxer in the Night of Samurai in December last year, and the fighter Wildebardo Garcia, illness got the best of him, and he got the belt, kept it. Jesse Rodriguez, he said, screw it, I'm just going up the weight class. That's it. Should Jesse Rodriguez would have had an opportunity to put those titles on the line? I guess. And again, it really stinks to put that in. And more updates on what's going on in boxing. August the 21st, we have Jake Paul releasing another boxing promotion, which is this time it's going to be titled The MVP Serrano versus Manzer. Who the heck is Manzer? I have no idea. And technically, the fight card is being released. So this woman, Annabella, is an Argentina fighter with 14 wins, 4 defeats. I don't understand why Amanda Serrano is fighting this person. This woman is ranked number 17, and as I'm looking at it right now, it's a 12-round, 2-minute fight. It's ridiculous. The entire show is going to be interesting. Joey D. Oliveira, former Misfits champion, is going to have against another fighter that's 1-0 like her. They're both 150. We also have a female fighter of Iane Verduzco from the super bantamweight with a 7-0 record. Is going to take on a 4-0 fighter, which will be an 8-round fight. Good luck with her on that. We also have our opponent that scored her first knockout in a not-so-good way of Joycelyn Camarillo. At 22 years old, 6 wins, and her one and only knockout might have taken the life of Isis Seo last March when Seo suffered an utter knockout and she was taken out by a stretcher. And it does stink because there's no update if Seo is doing okay. We also have Shadacia Green. Shadacia Green, who lost against now 3-time champion Lonnie Daniels recently, a month later, and she was taken out by a stretcher. Again, I can't find update information. It's weird that we don't know why the information of what these boxers and their health. It stinks that we don't got information. The odds of them not boxing again are possible. It just goes to show you how dangerous the sport is for women and even for men too. And heck, last year ago in Japan, 2 boxers died in the same night, same event, same venue. Never happened before in boxing history. That's ridiculous. And as of this year, 0 boxers have died. So that right there is crazy enough. So Joycelyn is taking on Ashley Felix, who's a 7-4 fighter, 1-0 contest. from Mexico, 21 years old. And again, she's never been knocked out she's never been knocked out in her career. She lost against some decent fighters. Again, I wish Joyce Lynn the best of luck in her career. At this moment, on paper, the entire fight card here, it's tough for me to look at this fight card and to believe this is legit. I don't know about this main event. I just can't find this to be an interesting show to watch. It's ridiculous. And again, August the 8th, we do have MVP W5, which I will review. And we still have it. Dina Thorslund versus Trineka Johnson for undisputed bantamweight, which would be something that Mizuki Hiruda should do. She should just go up to bantamweight, and I believe she has what it takes to defeat Thorslund or Trineka Johnson. She's a more killer than anyone else. Desley Robinson's taking on Tam Thibault. And around that time, we're going to have Clarissa Shields coming back from weight to take on against Kay Scott. So all of this stuff could go on as it is, and with everything going on. So it's not going to be a secret to understand that. Even August the 29th, we even have Chantel Cameron and Michaela Mayer, Caroline Dubois taking on Amelia Moore, 4-0, who's actually born in Connecticut, living in Colorado. And this 36-year-old fighter might be the next fighter recently used to be born in England, or New England, to become champion. So who knows? But again, I have to digress on that. It's a tough situation to talk about because all of this stuff it's going to be really tough for me to find out what's going on because Jake Paul, his entire fight cards are not terrible for what they are. I do find these to be interesting, and maybe we might have some opportunities. Maybe. Here's my part. So, as of right now, here's my thing. With all of it being said, sorry. So with all that being said, there's a lot of things going on here. We do have other fights going on in other divisions. Like we have the super middleweight where we have Canelo Alvarez, who's still number one in the super middleweight, and he's fighting against Christian Mbili for the WBC super middleweight title. And we even have Diego Pacheco taking on some random fighter today as we speak in California. And again, we don't even know anything about understanding if he's even a title threat. Yes, he's still young. It's going to happen live on the Zone for Eddie Hearn in California today. So, but again, what does he have anything to do with the sport? And even Hamza Shiraz, super bantamweight for WBO, is taking on a guy on the same dates for July the 25th against a guy from Germany named Simon Zachenhuber. And the thing is, same night for Anthony Joshua, Kristen Panga, and everything else, and even Jacob Bank is taking on another fighter in the super middleweight, and he, from Denmark, is trying to get his big break as well. So I'm not going to say legit that there's going to be a lot of championship hopes here, but again, I'm even curious to find out about the Japanese boxer in the super middleweight that goes by the name of Yuito Morikawa, who's ranked number 79. And when looking it up, he's going to have a trilogy fight in October against Juk No Yun. Yeah. So this super middleweight fighter in Japan is going to have a rematch, a trilogy match against a fighter he's already fought in December, fought in May, won with no controversies, same night where Naoya Inoue defeat Nakatani, and Inoue and his brother did this or that, and Sora Tanaka lost against Jin Sasaki in welterweight, and that killed his career. And Jin Sasaki is still number 24 in the rankings, and he's taking on someone else named David Sesumuji from the country of Uganda, ranked 84. And again, those are for a bunch of titles he's going to win in September. So it makes you wonder about the welterweight division for Japanese boxing and the super middleweight for boxing in Japan as well, because it's like, what's the point of having a third match with someone? It's like, it's so random that Eastern Asian boxers from South Korea, Japan, can't get bigger opportunities because the Pacific region in Asia is really weak. So I don't know. I really can't understand the fortitude of understanding. And I only have a few minutes left to talk about something else. But again, this right here is ridiculous. This Japanese boxer having another fight against someone, and I'm afraid he might lose, which might kill off another Japanese boxer to get an opportunity in the super middleweight, just like what happened to Sora Tanaka against Jin Sasaki a couple months ago. It's like we have a chance for a Japanese fighter to make it to the welterweight and do the unthinkable, and then boom, it failed. So, yeah, I just don't get it. It's really, really, really killing me off here because I really, really want to see something else. And by the way, this fight is taking place in South Korea. So Yuito Morikawa is going to that guy's backyard for the trilogy. He's fought twice with him in Japan, so it's just like, great, what luck factor. So I just don't know. I really can't understand anything going on for this type of ridiculousness. It's just so bad that I just hate it. I hate it so much. Oh, and by the way, as I'm talking about this right now I just found another update right now. And it says right here, Jermell Charlo off Spence to Suzu card after Australia visa denied. Yes, so Ben Hamans, working for Box.live, if he's part of it for Boxing News, has already stated it. The scheduled fight with Jermell Charlo versus Cohen Mazudir for the Errol Spence and Tim Tsuzu undercard fight is off after former two-weight champion was denied a visa by the Australian government. No Limit Boxing confirmed on Friday that Charlo will not travel to Australia for the bout, which had been due to feature as a major undercard fight after Pay Arena. For PBC representation, also confirmed that Charlo's fight with Mazudir has been canceled, with no reason provided for the visa denial. So yeah, that right there just seals the deal. What's the point of me talking about this? Okay, well, I'm not going to review that show for Australia. I'll say who won the fight, but again, I'm not going to talk about it. And I'm barely going to talk little about the fights for the heavyweight fights next week, but man, this is ridiculous. All of this stuff happening, and now Jermell Charlo, again, so Jermell Charlo is eyeing up with a match with, okay, so BoxRec should get rid of this update that's going on. We know that fight's not going to happen. So Jermell Charlo is eyeing up a fight. As I'm thinking of being told, Jermell Charlo is going to have a fight with Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia, who did win the belt recently, some months ago. It's going to be interesting. I would like to see a Munguia versus Jermell Charlo fight. Again, I think it would have been better to have Charlo fight someone else, and maybe we might see something interesting. But we might as well have to wait for reports on that until the time comes. But again, I'm going to take a break from reviewing the boxing world as we speak. In the next episode, I will talk about the Confederation Cup in soccer. So, with that being said, stay tuned for more updates, and we'll be right back.